slowly came down from fog. Dogs gently holding on to you. Leave it all away, gather up the words and tear them down. Gather up the words, leave it all away.
Saving the game. DICE, in their infinite wisdom, seems to think that adding a patch 1 year after the release of Battlefield 4 will somehow bring it out of the beta that it's been in, but is that the case? So, a lot of things have changed, but in this video, I'm not going to go over all that because I figure you're not probably here to do that. If you wanted to know everything that had changed, you'd probably just read the Battlelog website, but I figured that I'd touch upon some of the things that are affecting me the most. I think are the most important things to take away from this new update. There are a lot of ways that you need to sort of switch up your play style because the game plays a lot differently. Even though it may look cosmetically the same, it is quite different. So hope you guys do enjoy that, but I'll get right into it. So the first thing I've noticed I need to do is start aiming for the head more. Now this is something you have to do in games like CSGO, but in Battlefield it was always my go-to game, is along with Call of Duty. For games that you don't really have to aim for the head, you can go for the center of mass, the chest, and usually you can do just fine. But I've been finding that when I go for the body or the chest of my enemies, they usually take me down a whole lot faster. So this may just be some of the servers I was playing in, or I have no idea. But I have noticed that if I don't tell myself to specifically aim for that head, I'm usually at quite a big disadvantage, and I usually will get shot down pretty fast. The other thing is movement speed. Movement speed now plays the same way it does in Battlefield 3. So what this usually means is that you can kind of pop behind cover just like that there, and you should get out of the way of bullets pretty fast. I think this is a good thing because, since the netcode in Battlefield is kind of sketchy at times, I think it is sort of needed. You need to be able to evade those bullets sometimes when you can't really get behind cover because the netcode's just going to let you die even though you're behind cover. I mean, the way I view fixes like that, since the netcode, I guess, since they haven't fixed it, I'm assuming that it must be extremely difficult or nearly impossible to fix. I mean, I just view things like this as kind of like patching a sinking ship, because it means that there's intrinsic problems with the game that you can't fix by just fixing the game. You can't just fix the netcode, so you have to make some workarounds that kind of eliminate the problem, or if not eliminate it, but at least make it a little bit smaller. So anyways, I don't know if that makes sense, but that is kind of the way I think DICE is trying to go about fixing the netcode, or at least trying to eliminate some of the complaints regarding the netcode. The other thing that also is related to that netcode topic and the speed, the movement changes, is the fact that it now takes 1 extra bullet to kill an enemy for almost all weapons. The only thing I'm not sure about is DMRs. I think DMRs might still be 3 bolts to kill. But in terms of the assault rifles and things like that, the automatic weapons, they all take 1 extra bullet. And so this is kind of having to compensate for the fact that you can move faster. It just means that you have to stay on target for just a little bit longer. Finally, grenades have been greatly nerfed. So things like the impact grenade you have a whole lot less of them. You only have 1 now instead of 3 or 2 as it was before. And also, they now have a much smaller impact radius, so you really have to land those impact nades if you want to make use out of them. You'll notice me using in these clips a lot of flashbangs, and I found that those are now, it's kind of my go-to grenade. I never ever used them earlier when I was playing Battlefield 4, but I have noticed they are quite useful because you get 3 of them, And they also have been greatly buffed. So basically now what happens when you get hit by a flashbang is you can't see anything. I mean anything. It's completely white for I want to say about 5 seconds or so, I think. So that's a crazy long amount of time for an engagement in Battlefield 3. So I think those are going to become kind of the go-to grenades for a lot of people. Those and smoke. Smokes now are a lot more dense. The cloud of smoke is more dense. The duration that it stays up is now a little bit longer. So really, those kind of conditional grenades that don't really do damage, but they sort of place a condition on soldiers, I think those are going to become a lot more popular since they've basically been buffed. Now, how's about them maps? So, some of the vanilla maps from the original Battlefield game have been updated for Rush. They're a little bit more Rush-oriented now. I don't think this has really fixed those maps for Rush. I think some of them, like Siege of Shanghai, play a lot better now. But I don't think that all of them now play super great for Rush. I mean, those maps are intrinsically, they were made for Conquest. They weren't made for Rush. So they still just don't feel like they play well for Rush game modes. And I think this is something that DICE isn't going to be able to make a patch or modify the map with. I think it's just a problem that those maps will always have with Rush. They just aren't balanced for that game mode. Some of the Dragon's Teeth maps actually played really well with Rush. But, I think if they want to get some good Rush maps out there, they're probably just going to have to make that third assault or whatever the new map pack is that people are kind of spreading these rumors about. They're just going to have to take something like that, take some old Battlefield 3 maps, or, maybe even make some new maps. But one way or another, they just got to make maps that are a little bit more focused on the Rush game mode. The last thing that I thought was pretty significant about this patch is that they've removed the Magnum and Rex trigger delay. Finally. DICE, have you had your heads in the hole? We've been asking for this for a whole year now. What? It's not. I just don't get it sometimes. It took them so long for something that probably just takes a few little scripts of code. They just needed to. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, those now are actually pretty useful. I've been using the Rex a whole lot more than a Magnum because I still feel a little bit wonky with the Magnum. I don't feel like it quite plays the same way it did in Battlefield 3, which I really enjoyed. I was able to really hit those headshots, really hit those follow-up shots with the Magnum, or hit the headshots as well. But I just can't seem to do it in Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4. So I'm probably just gonna have to keep practicing with that. But until then, the Rex is still pretty fun to use. It's not super great or anything, but it is just a fun little Magnum like chambered weapon. Anyways, the Deagle has been nerfed, so no longer will we have people complaining about the Deagle being so OP that you can use it as a primary. It isn't, super balanced by any means. It still is pretty strong and powerful, but it's nowhere near as powerful as it was before. I think it takes an extra shot, just like with everything else, to now kill. And I think the damage of each shot has been slightly reduced by a few points. So that's basically all of the significant changes that I think were made in the new update. As I said, I'm not going to cover everything, so if you guys do want to go see that, go check out the logs, but I just wanted to cover the things that I thought was pretty important and really have been affecting the way that I've been playing this game. If you guys remember way back when Battlefield 4 was being sort of shown off at a lot of demos and presentations, there was one cool thing that the Frostbite engine was able to do that never was added to Battlefield 4 until now. So basically what they've added is the fact that now if you're in a helicopter or you're in a jet or something that creates wind, you can actually sort of push these trees, like palm trees and stuff that are all around on Paracel Storm. You actually can create some little wind effects with that. So that's kind of cool. I'm glad they did that. It's always the little details in maps that really add to the immersion, the atmosphere that games create. So I always love it when game developers take full potential of that and don't pull what Ubisoft did with Watch Dogs. Thank you. But I mean, this is a year after, so I guess I shouldn't be saying thank you to DICE. I should be saying you guys should have done that a long time ago. But oh well, it's better late than never. That guy should not have been wearing his hockey pads. He's not the real Batman, so he can't do that. He can't jump off there and take out the criminals. He's not Batman. And that's basically it for this video. I am in the process of making a CSGO tutorial, mainly on Dust, the Dust map. Maybe later on I'll make some Nuke, or some other maps in CS:GO, but I think Dust is pretty much the most highly played map in CS:GO right now, especially in competitive. So if you can master that map, you should do pretty well in the game as a whole. There's been an amazing new update on Battlefield Hardline. You get to have gold camos. This is groundbreaking, guys. It's not. Everyone's kind of actually been making a big deal about this. I think it's not really too big of a deal, but I mean, it's kind of goofy. I think Visceral has some kind of hypocritical ideas in that, first of all, they removed SMAs and RPGs, made them as battle pickups instead of gadgets for engineers to use, and they did this because they wanted to make it more realistic. Cops, robbers, they're not going to have RPGs just hanging around. They're not going to have access to those like, say, the army would. So I guess their mentality was they tried to take things like that out because it makes more sense realistically. But I guess it makes more sense also to have golden camos for cars and golden camos for your weapons, because cops definitely do that. They gotta showcase their opulence, man. That's how they roll. They gotta put the common folk in their place. That's their role. So anyways, that's basically it for this video. Hopefully some new videos coming out soon. As I said, CS:GO, and also Alien Isolation comes out in 2 days. And I haven't really been paying too much attention to this game, but after watching some videos by some other blokes out there, it seems like it'll be a pretty interesting game. So I'm gonna probably try to get my hands on a copy of that if I can. But anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Be sure to let me know down below, because it always brightens my day, and hopefully it makes you feel a little fuzzy inside. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time.